So here are some things, and I'll try to give you little tips as I hit some of these. Expect and accept the fact that it's going to be painful. I mean, you have to go into this day recognizing that it's going to be tough. I mean, it is. It's just, I mean, but the reality, I'll tell you, the honest truth, is more people than not tell me that, you know, I was so upset worrying about Thanksgiving. Then once Thanksgiving came, it really wasn't as bad as I thought. Because what they've done is sort of pre-invested all the worrying to the point where, you know, it just wasn't as bad. Feel what you feel and not what others want you to. And what do I mean by that? You know what you need. If you need to stay home, stay home. If you need to be able to get up and cry, get up and cry. But if you start finding yourself having to do what others want you to do, well, they wouldn't want me crying at the table here, you're going to have a hard time because that's where the stress starts to build. All right? Someone asked me the other night, and I don't know if this is later or not, but he said to me, so what would you suggest? I'd rather just stay home on Thanksgiving. I think it was his wife that had died. And he said, you know, and he didn't have any children, and my family wants me there. I'd rather just stay home. What would you recommend? It's always nice that he's going to go, I know, he's going to go tell the family. Well, my counselor said. But, so here's what I told him. I said, look, it's usually people who don't feel they have an out that have the hardest time. And what I mean by that is if you call up your sister, let's say, and you're going to be at her house for Thanksgiving, and you say, you know, I really don't want to come, but at the same time, I know I really should be there. So here's what I'd like to propose. I'm going to come alone. I'll drive myself. I don't need anyone taking me. And if I decide that morning or I decide on the way I can't do it, I'm just going to turn around and go home. And if I make it and we're sitting down for dinner and now it's too painful, then I'm going to have to leave. And as long as everyone's okay with that, you know, I'll agree to come. And I told him, I said, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Some family's going to say, oh, absolutely. You know, if that's what you need, absolutely. Don't even worry about it. You do what you need to do, and we understand. He'll be okay. If that's the way his family is, he'll go. I guarantee it, he'll be fine. But if he has a family who's going to say, no, 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 if you don't want to be there, we're going to come get you because we know you really need to be there, then the stress is going to be immense. And so what's going to happen is he's going to not go. There's going to be a fight. He's going to go. He's going to hate it, whatever it might be. So that's what I'm talking about is feeling how you feel, not what others think. This whole idea of we'll come and get you, that's the worst advice you could ever take because you need to be able to go if you need to go. And to be trapped, that's where anxiety starts, right, is that feeling of being trapped. Express your emotions. Don't hide them. Let the family know it's okay. I recommend, like at a Thanksgiving dinner, a couple things. If Grandpa died, for example, and he always sat at the head of the table, I would leave his seat completely empty at the Thanksgiving dinner and maybe put a candle in front of his place or a picture or something like that. Tell people ahead of time, remember to communicate that we're going to do this, and ask people to come with a story about Grandpa so that before dinner, our grace, or whatever you want to call it in your tradition, before we sit down and eat, we're going to all say a thing or two about Grandpa. I guarantee it will break the ice. Everyone will know it's okay to talk about him, and everyone will have a good tear or a good laugh, you know, but it'll be okay. But it's when we all sit down, and his chair is at the end of the table, and no one knows, like, should I sit there or shouldn't I sit there? You know, that would be really bad and everything else. They all get nervous about this. If you don't want to leave it empty, and I can understand, I think it's a good idea, but I can certainly understand the other side of that, then I'd suggest the littlest child in the family gets the chair. They get promoted to the 2-year-old gets Grandpa's chair or something like that, because then, again, it's a formal recognition. The last thing you want is, 2 of his sons, I got the chair. Why did you get the chair? I wanted the chair, and then, like, how do you think you deserve it? It's just the weirdest things happen in families when, these kind of things happen. But if you tell people you're going to talk about them, you tell people you're going to have stories, then you're telling them already that, emotions are okay, that it's all right to be sad, it's all right to be laughing, whatever. The other thing on the stories is if a little kid is there, have them go first because they make everyone crack up and then everyone's fine. All right, and then laughter's okay, then tears are okay. Don't make, like, the sob person go first because it goes downhill from there, okay? If you're good at planning, this is your day. because planning is what you need, even if you're not good. The more you can minimize surprises, you can lay everything out the way you're expecting it to go, the more helpful it is. And the reason for that is because surprises are what get us. You know, imagine you have it all sort of planned and you've already decided that I can't have the such and such dessert because it was his or her special dessert. And so you've planned it, we're not having it here, and then someone shows up with it. You know, it's just like, oh, and back to the again, right? But that's what happens. Or, you know, something like that. It's those surprises that are hard. So the more you can lay it out, the more you'll be okay, all right? I want to see where I'm going to get to the, yeah, okay. So take charge of your life wherever you can. Feel free, as we said, to do things differently. I'm going to talk in a minute about children because I just got done telling you feel comfortable doing things differently. The only caveat again to that is that children do like things to be the same, and so we have to sort of counterbalance that. Turn to others for support where you can, where you trust them, especially through holiday periods because it's just hard. And trust me, it's okay to rely on them for a few days. You'll make it, and then you can go back to being about yourself again. Be kind to yourself, and I put in parentheses here, be selfish. You're not going to be that way forever. Selfish has, unfortunately, a bad connotation in our world. All selfish means is taking care of oneself, and in this instance, you need to take care of yourself. And mothers, particularly, have to learn to do this because they are the best people in the world at taking care of everybody but themselves. And I don't know if you've ever been on an airplane when they say, you know, should the things fall, the oxygen mask fall out of the, please put yours on first and then take care of, you know, whoever's with you. They're not telling you that to be selfish. They're telling you that because if you pass out, you can't help your son who's trying to figure out how to put the mask on. And it's the same thing here. If you find that, you know, as a mom, you're getting really overwhelmed and everything else, you can't be helpful to the rest of your kids or your family or however it goes. So you need to find time, especially at the holidays, to take care of yourself. Explicitly remember your loved one and incorporate their memory into your celebration. This is what I meant about, like, the chair is a good example. If there's something that you know was very special to the person who died, that's fine to have it there. A woman asked me the other night, she said it was my husband's eyeglasses that are still sitting on, like, the nightstand or whatever. I said, you know what? He was known for, I guess, his reading glasses or whatever. I said, put them on the table. You know, is it going to, like, to people when they get there? Yeah. But it's not the same. It is sad that Grandpa's not here this year. And it's okay. People will get past it once it starts to happen. So something you can do to incorporate them. I've seen over and over again that when we forget the person, that's when there's strife. So everyone leaves the party or the celebration of Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it is, and they say, I can't believe it. No one even, it was like he never even existed. Then everyone starts to get angry. Whereas when we incorporate them into the day, it's very, very peaceful, and it's very, very well, it usually goes very, very well.